Grab a stack of rock and hold on tight as hard as you can.
Keyboard's here, it's time for a party. Come and see, got the comment started.
Grab a stack of rock with Mike and the Bad Metal Man. Grab a stack of rock and hold on tight as hard as you can. Grab a stack of rock with Mike and the Bad Metal Man. Grab a stack of rock and hold on tight as hard as you can. Grab a stack of rock. Grab a stack of rock.
Hey folks, welcome to this special episode of Grab a Stack of Rock. And may I introduce back in the co-hosting seat, all the way from Rock Daydream Nation. Here he is, Mr. Harrison Cobb, the Mad Metal Man. How are you doing tonight, my friend? I can't hear you. I cannot hear you. Oh no. Audio problems, folks. We're having audio problems tonight. I cannot hear him at all. Can you hear it? Can the viewers hear him? Or is it just me? Someone leave a comment, please. Is it just me or is it him? Someone leave a comment, please. Is it me or is it him? I can't hear him. Can you guys hear him? Is it me? Is it you guys? Come on, somebody help me. No audio. Okay, it's on your end, Harrison.
Is that better?
Oh my God! Yes, thank you, Harrison, and thank you,
Yeah.
Johnny Klauser. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Like when you did that little pre-show where you were like, Harrison, I'm having audio issues. You did that literally a second after I fixed mine. Then I got up to do something, nudged my microphone USB plug in, and now I had to fix the audio issues again.
I love, by the way, all of your art, but I just realized I'm not sure if I like Casual Sex and the Cineplex playing right below where our faces
Yeah,
are.
after I sent that to you, I'm like, that's probably not the best album, but I was just grabbing random albums, basically. Can you move us down a little?
I tried, and I am not Grant Arthur. Let's just put it that way.
We'll just need a third person to come on then.
Yes, which I'm hoping somebody may. We've invited a few people. But Harrison, you have been absent since February. This is your big return as opposed to last week's unofficial. Mm-hmm. And by the way, that was an awesome show last week, the Paul Diano show. Mm-hmm. Thank you for watching. I had a great time, and I know you did too. But this is also our second anniversary show. And, you know, it was, I think, October 28th of 2022, where I was sitting in the parking lot at work. And I messaged you, and I said, Harrison, are you available tonight if I decided to go live? And you're like, yeah, man, I'd love to do that, you know. and we did.
Yeah, you're lucky I was up. If I was asleep, I would have like rolled over in the morning, checked my phone, and been like, oh,
it'd been too late. Well. Yeah. And I was like within like an hour, half an hour to an hour of that window of opportunity of contacting you. And we went live that night. Uncle Meat joined us, and we had an awesome time. And we've been grabbing stacks of rock ever since. But as you know, one of my favorite features that has been gone for far, far too long is a little thing we like to call Ask Harrison. We haven't done one of these in ages. Tonight we're going to do two. And by the way, I also have a really great one for next week's Mad Max show. Oh my goodness, you're going to love this one. But we have two questions tonight. One from myself and one from Lana. Lana's is a music question. Mine is a Lego question. Which would you like to field first, my friend?
I'm not fussy.
Okay, let's go with
help you.
Let's go with Lana first because it's the music question.
Oh, morning, Harrison. I'm recording this the day after our awesome Paul Diano show that we did with Pete Jones, John Klauser, and Metal Roger. What an awesome show, buddy. Anyway, we have a question from your old friend, Lana. So, let me just get that question queued up. Typically, Michael is not prepared, but it is morning. Lana wants to know, She's curious what Iron Maiden songs you would like to hear on the upcoming 2025 Run for Your Lives tour. From Lana. Answer away, Harrison. Glad to have you back, my buddy.
All right, so I'm just going to go chronologically through the albums. I'm not going to touch on the obvious ones like Iron Maiden and that sort of thing. So from the debut, I'd like to hear Running Free. They haven't played that one for a while. From Killers, I'm expecting all we're going to get is Wrathchild, but I'd love to hear Purgatory. From Number of the Beast, I'd like to hear Gangland, but that's never going to happen.
No.
From Peace of Mind, I don't think Nico can play Where Eagles Dare anymore. There Still Life would be nice as well. From Power Slave, I'd like to hear Lost for Words, Big Aura. From Somewhere in Time, I'll sort of skip that because we just got a load of Somewhere in Time. From Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, I'd like to hear Infinite Dreams, but if Bruce couldn't do it on the Made in England tour, I doubt he can do it now. Only the Good Die Young would be nice. So would Seventh Son of a Seventh Son as well. And lastly, from No Prayer for the Dying, they're covering up to No Prayer and Fear of the Dark. So Fear of the Dark, I'd like to hear Judas Be My Guide. I doubt we're going to hear that, but it's an awesome deep cut. And then from No Prayer for the Dying, I'd like to hear Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. I'd like to hear Holy Smoke. I'd like to hear No Prayer for the Dying. I'd like to hear Public Enemy #1.
From that album, I'd like to hear
album.
For me, I'd like to hear Tail Gunner again, but that's it.
Yeah.
And actually, Judas Be My Guide is the one that I picked as well. So good for you. Okay, so with that music question out of the way, here's just a more casual, fun one. And funny thing is, Lana's question was the newest question, but this one here is over a year old, as you shall see by this video footage. I don't look like this anymore. Oh, hey, Harrison, funny seeing you here. I just got back from the Lego store. And I was wondering, I know you like to collect minifigures, and a lot of your Lego art revolves around minifigures, but how do you feel about these more art-oriented sets? They're more geared towards adults. They don't have minifigures, but I think they're pretty cool. What do you think, Harrison? I think that would make a pretty good backdrop in a picture with minifigures. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't mind those sets. Like you mentioned, they'd make very good backdrops. I really like that space one, but I sort of don't. I don't exactly have the budget for them when you counter in music and Transformers and Lego and occasionally Boogie, everything. I just don't have the budget for like those sets, unfortunately. Or the room. Space is at a major premium here. You wouldn't believe real estate prices in my room.
Well, I have in the past donated some of our extra sets that maybe we like less than others to Aaron's son, who is a massive Lego maniac and maybe a forthcoming Harrison of the next generation. Who knows? But anyways, we're not going to talk too much about Lego tonight, although we did on the very first show. We talked about my big Lego Optimus Prime that I just got. We're going to talk about some rock because basically the idea for the show came from my friend Uncle Meat. And I was really burned out mid 2020. I was burned out. We were doing another show called The LeBrain Train. And Harrison was on that a number of times. And we used to go 3-hour shows was the average. And I was burned out. The pandemic was all but over. And I didn't see the point of live streaming anymore on Friday nights. And I quit. And then I got the itch again. And here we are. And Uncle Meat, to bring back to him, said, Mike, you should do something easy. I know that you're burned out and everything. So why don't you just grab a stack of rock and show it off to the camera? And there it was. Grab a stack of rock. And that was all Uncle Meat. Show wouldn't have happened without Uncle Meat. So there you go. I'd like him to show up tonight. Maybe he's watching. But Harrison, this is also your return. So the floor is yours. We're going to show off some stacks of rock. You probably more so than me. But I have some accompanying pieces to show off. So why don't we start? Let's do 3 rounds, let's say, shall we?
Yep.
Okay.
I planned the standard 3-round.
The classic grab a stack format, 3 rounds.
Are you going first or?
No, my friend. Let's have you go first. Take the floor.
All right. So round 1 is going to be bands that I've got into, like new bands, and then bands where I might have known a couple of songs or stuff for a while, but I bought my first stuff of them recently. But first, all right, I've got a lamp on, so as you can see, the lighting's a little better. Hopefully,
I noticed. Yes.
yeah. I probably need a stronger one, but for now it should do. So I'm just going to throw things back to last week's show.
Okay, we're gonna do a
you might
zoom
have to
in
crank
here.
the brightness still, but Paul Di'Anno, Killers live at the Whiskey. So awful reflection.
There you go.
This I mentioned last week was in the mail, and it arrived. So I do get to show this off, even though it is one show too late. All right.
But,
so
having said that, if anybody's watching right now that did catch the Paul Di'Anno show last week, Iron Maiden, they're such an important part for both you and me, and Paul Di'Anno deserves another shout out this week because, without that Iron Maiden stuff, maybe you and I never would have met. I might never even.
Oh, undoubtedly, I made you through Best of the Beast.
My review, yeah. So anyway, I'm so glad to have you back. That's genuine from here. But over to you.
All right, so I picked up some Gravedigger. The reason why this is their, I was about to say it's their self-titled album. No, the album is called The Gravedigger, so it's almost self-titled. It's from 2001. It's not their first album, but the reason I got it is because this one has a Japanese bonus track of their cover of Running Free. The Iron Maiden
nice.
song. Now, I could have picked this up on a tribute album, but personally, the tribute albums were just as expensive as this Japanese edition, and personally, I like the cover art on this a lot better than the cover art of the tribute albums. Plus, I don't mind having some Gravedigger in my collection. There's some songs on here I like. If you the cover basic of Running Free basically sounds like Running Free, but heavied up and sung through a thick German accent. So it's an interesting experience, but no, I like it. I think it sounds good.
I agree with your purchase strategy there. If it were me, I would have bought the Japanese import over the tribute for the same price. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So I've been buying a little bit of Nightwish recently. They're a symphonic metal band from Finland. So this is the Over the Hills and Far Away EP. Now, also, I just want to stop. Look at this cover art. Even though it's pretty minimalistic, you don't get many covers in this color. I love having this just for this like white and light blue. But it's got the Over the Hills and Far Away. It's got a few other songs. And then because this is the 2002 reissue, it's got 5 live tracks from their recent live album at the time. And then I also picked up a studio album because I liked what I heard, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go into I didn't know where to start, basically, what album. So I basically said, I'm going to go into my local CD store and I'm going to buy a Nightwish album. But it doesn't matter which one, There was one there, so the decision was easy. It was Endless Form's Most Beautiful. This is their 2015 album. It's the first with Floor Jansen on vocals. This album's great. I really like it. Some great stuff. And this is I was lucky enough to get the bonus edition, which has a second CD with the whole album in instrumental form. The funny thing is that track 9 on the regular album is already an instrumental.
Funny enough, I own only one Nightwish album. It's the one before that, the one with Annette Olsen. And they also had a bonus CD of the instrumental versions as well, same format.
Yeah, they seem to do that a lot. Their most recent album also has that as well. Annette's a good singer too. Floor's my favorite, but Annette had some good stuff. She's often overlooked, wrongfully so, I think.
Just because it was a brief period, it's easily, it's squeezed between 2 long tenures of well-loved vocalists. Let's face it, she didn't have time.
And Taya was a very impressive singer who had a very distinct style as well. Yeah. So right before Oasis announced their reunion, I bought a few of their singles. Mostly not for the A sides, mostly for the B side. So this is Who Feels Love, but I bought it for Helter Skelter.
This one is around.
Yes, it's got.
Yeah, because mine is like that's different. Mine is a little. Mine looks like a 3-inch CD. Like it has a.
Mine is a Minimax.
Which
basically it's a Minimax.
Okay. Yes, that's it.
In front of it is this like mail order thing. To receive information on Oasis, please put a stamp on the front, fill in and return this card.
No, keep it. No, yeah,
it's
okay,
staying.
so that is the same as mine, but I don't have the card.
Yeah, but I bought that for their cover of Helter Skelter.
Yes.
This is Don't Look Back in Anger, which I don't mind the A side, but I bought it for the B side, the Slade cover, Come On Feel the Noise.
Very first Oasis I ever bought was that very single for the very same reason.
And
go.
This is Cigarettes and Alcohol, which I bought for their live cover of I Am the Walrus at Glasgow, June '94. Yeah, I love CD singles. They're dirt cheap these days, and you can often get really cool live B-sides and that sort of stuff.
Oasis have always been consistent with their singles. If you continue to listen, there's more great stuff, especially on the Don't Look Back in Anger single. You're gonna fall in love with some of these B-sides, man.
Yeah, we'll get to some another great B-side further on in this stack. So this is for Holland. This one of the live B-sides here is the Glastonbury 1999 version of Man on the Moon. Man on the Moon is my favorite REM track. It's one of the few REM tracks I like, and the Glastonbury 99 version is my go-to version. So of course I had to get that on CD.
Yeah.
Now here's an interesting one. This is a band from France. They're called Trust. Now Iron Maiden fans will recognize this as the band that Nico McBrain was in before he was in Iron Maiden. This album doesn't feature Nico, but I bought it mainly, well, basically my entry to this album was the song Antisocial. It's an awesome song, amazing. Anthrax covered it in English, as in they covered it with the words in English. There's also an English version of this album. What happened?
Sorry, folks. I think Harrison's laptop died. I thought it was on. And anyway, Harrison's asked me to continue with my stack. So I'm going to show off some stuff that I got recently and maybe some stuff that may be coming up in some upcoming shows. Sorry about this, folks. We cannot have a live show without some kind of technical error. Here's one that I got in the summertime, but I haven't had a chance to really absorb it yet. I've played it maybe 4 or 5 times, and thank God we have phones. Harrison's back. Okay. Oh,
sorry about that. Very sorry about that. I forgot to plug my laptop in before the show, and then the screen just went black. And at least the audio issues are still fixed.
I've been having Wi-Fi issues, so I thought it was on my end. Anyway,
no.
I just showed one CD, which is the new Black Country Communion, number 5. It's their, I don't know, would you call it a reunion? But I haven't had a chance to really absorb it yet. But we'll get back to my stuff. Let's go on with yours.
Trust, I was just going to say, get this in French. It sounds a lot better in French. They did do an English release of the album after this, but the French is better. You know, Anthrax covered Antisocial. That should be enough you need to know about the quality of this.
Yeah, I know that one song.
Yeah. So I did pick up a Beach Boys compilation. This apparently was not a very well received one. It's sort of like the best of the rest because it was like a companion to an existing greatest hits. So it doesn't have most of their well-known stuff. It does have Then I Kissed Her on it. But the reason I bought it is because it's one of the few CD releases for their cover of California Dreaming, which I really like.
Cool.
You know I got to have this stuff on CD.
Well, this is a show about physical product. So
I picked up my first Danzig as well. Mother
Ah.
CD single. You get Mother 94 version, Mother live, and Mother original version. It's everything I could want on a CD single for Mother.
Yes. No, Mother 94 version. So is that re-recorded?
I think so. The difference between like 94 live and the original is like you can barely hear it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's not like some crazy remix or anything. All right, so I can see a vinyl in the background there. I have this on CD.
Interesting.
I picked this up because I like the band as a covers band at the moment very much. They do great covers. And so I bought this one. I like this album. There's definitely some great stuff on here. I am a bit sad that the version of Gimme 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 is not the iTunes version. I thought that was a superior version. Especially
I agree. Yes.
I think it was a saxophone solo in the middle. But no, it's a good album. I might be the only person in Australia that owns this. Not to cast aspersions on the band's popularity outside of their home country, but Australia is a bit isolated from the rest of the world.
You know, our friend Jeff Steven just saw the Arkells, I think, last week in Kingston.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. And I think Kat went to see him as well recently. But this is my signed vinyl, and I'll just really quickly show off the actual record again because it's really nice.
It's got a cool record, yeah.
It is a cool record. Look at this. There we go.
Very nice.
And personal anecdote about this album is, you know, I lost my Uncle Paul last year, and driving to Stratford for the funeral, I like to play music in the car, and I have to play something the family's going to enjoy. So I played the Arkells and the Arkells iTunes EP that you just referred to with the original version of Gimme Gimme Gimme. And my sister loved it. She's like, is this ABBA? And I'm like, it's the Arkells covering ABBA. So we have a memorial service for my uncle tomorrow, and I'm going to play this in the car for the family. So that's my story.
Not that exact vinyl, but the album.
Because I have it on CD as well, yes.
Yes.
But yeah.
All right, so I saw that Mr. John Clauser of My Music Corner was watching, so this is one for him. I did pick up my first Wasp. This is the double CD edition of Crimson Idol, which I bought because the bonus disc has the live version of, which one is it? Wild Child from Donington, 1992, which I really love that live version. And I like this album a fair bit too. Stuff like the Arena of Pleasure, Chainsaw Charlie, some good stuff on here as well. So
I agree. The only thing I do not like really about that particular edition is if you're like me and you listen to the whole thing from start to finish without stopping, you have that really long Blackie Lawless spoken
the story
word
of Jonathan, bonus track.
It's more painful. It's more painful than Ronnie James Dio reading Magica. But both
let's just say I deject it after the great misconceptions of me.
Right. It's really hard to listen to those spoken word things. These are not, I hate to say ill of Blackie Lawless or Ronnie James Dio. It hurts, but those spoken word things are painful. And I challenge anybody to tell me otherwise. So.
All right. So this is, I don't know if you have your version of this handy. I did prep you on it. This is Dream Theater's Number of the Beast. This is their live cover of it in 2002.
I like this cover
this is a
way better.
Yeah, this is a reissue. You can't even tell this is an Iron Maiden cover. But to be fair, this reissue did make it a lot more commercially available, which is why I own it now. Yeah.
I wish I bought more of these. The one that I wish I really had was made in Japan, but I do have this one as well.
Ah, yes.
And
who knows? The Made in Japan bootleg might be reissued as well. I haven't looked into it. I just saw this in a Discogs sellers, and I was like, yeah, I'll take that.
Look how nice they look though with the seal. You know, they have the look of a series. Like this is the kind of stuff that collectors really value. I hate to say it, but the packaging of the new one just is a downgrade from that.
It's not as unique for sure as well.
Now, does yours have liner notes?
I don't have a booklet, but I do have a bit of writing.
Credit.
You've got
this has each one of these has like an essay by Mike Portnoy. Shouldn't be an essay, a blurb, I guess, but and pictures. So at least one thing that I appreciate about that is that now these have an additional value. You get to hear the album, you have it on physical format. That's great. But mine still has a value. You know what I mean? As a collector, that matters to me. So that's the Dream Theater touch. Yeah. You have anything else?
Yeah, so I was just reading John's comment. So yeah, I do have a few more things for this round. I've been keeping my eye out for an Iggy Pop best greatest hits for a while. There's been a few that sort of floated across my way, but I never bought. What's the past tense of bite? Anyway, I didn't bite on any of them until I saw this one. This is A Million in Prizes, the anthology. It's a 2-disc set of hits, plus it's got a DVD, which was enough to sell me. You put any live stuff on there and I'll be like eating that up. It's recorded at Avenue B in Belgium in 1999. It's a great show. He's playing it. The songs are a bit more heavier. It's definitely a lot more heavy metal than his earlier style was, and so stuff like Real Wild Child and The Passenger, which are two of my favorites, sound great. I believe that A Million in Prizes is a line from one of his early songs, which is why it's called that. All right, so that's one's nice. For later in the round. All right, so this is Burden of Grief. This is a Polish, I think, death metal band. I bought this because it was dirt cheap, and it had a bonus disc of a bunch of covers like Aces High, The Four Horsemen, Break On Through, Fool for Your Lovin', Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be, and a few others. I'm not a huge death metal fan, but it was dirt cheap. I was already buying something from that seller, so, I added it in, cool covers, basically. All right, so I picked up my first David Bowie. Now, it should be fairly easy to tell when I show these off what my favorite Bowie song is. So this is the CD single for Hello Space Boy. And then, Lost for Life, that's the one. And then this is, it's called No Trendy Réchauffe, or Réchauffé, I think, and it's live in Birmingham, 1995. Now, the B-sides from this single are from this show. This is the full show, plus the B-sides were remixed and edited a bit on this. This is the full version. Now, the reason why I bought this is because it has 2 versions of Hello Space Boy on there. The reason why is he played it once as part of the main set, and then at the very end, he played it again because they were going to record that performance for the music video. But then the song itself was heavily remixed by the Pet Shop Boys for the single release, so that obviously wouldn't match up with the remixed song. I would love to see that footage, though, just as a plain live performance of it. Video. Now, Bowie was interesting in the 90s. He went in this very weird sort of industrial direction, and if you look at the track list here, it's mostly songs that I don't recognize. It's Moon Age Daydream and Under Pressure are really the only 2 of his more well-known songs. The rest are all Look Back in Anger, Scary Monsters and Super Creeps, Voyeur of Utter Destruction, or The Man Who Sold the World is on here too. So yeah, I find it very interesting how you chart, when you look at classic singers, what they did in the 90s. Tom Jones got very contemporary and modern and did a lot of collaborations. Bowie went off in his weird direction. So it's just interesting how they sort of handled that. But that's probably a topic for another show. So I wanted a live version of Tide of Toe in the Line, and the only place you can get this is this, Rock Solid. It's a 2-disc set. Disc 1, it's called a previously unreleased album, so presumably it's from the archives. It's not very clear on when these songs were recorded, but the point I bought it was disc 2, live in concert 1980, Boston. Great show. Great live version of Tide of Toe on the Line, some other good stuff. I love it. He's got all these stuff like Rockabilly Boogie and Hey Little One and Falling in Love, and then there's this one song called Clowns in Outer Space. I just want to know how that fits in with the rest of them. Nice.
That's bizarre.
I love this cover art too, by the way. That's a man who's confident.
We're going to zoom in on that. There, show one more time. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. There was a WWE character, Jimmy the Mouth of the South Heart, and he kind of looked like that. He was a manager of the villain kind of characters. That's what he looked like.
Right. So just a few more then for me. I bought some Melissa Etheridge. This is her live EP from 88. Yeah, 88. It's got Chrome-Plated Heart. Sorry, let me read on the disc. Similar features, then a great version of Bring Me Some Water, and a great 10-minute version of Like the Way I Do. These are all from the Roxy 1988. You can get this on the deluxe edition of her debut album, but I bought this because it was a little cheaper. All right, so I picked up my first and really the only Doobie Brothers that I'm going to need, because this is amazing. This is their Live at the Greek Theatre 82. This is their farewell show, but they're playing on fire. Like, you know, it's not like, I know that Bruce Dickinson in the Real Live tour, his first farewell tour, got a bit of flack for, you know, allegedly underperforming, but not these guys. No, they're playing like, they're not playing like it's their final show, or maybe they are. They're giving it their all because it's their final show. But yeah, no, this is amazing show. Got basically every song you'll want. They bring back a couple of classic members for the last couple songs as well. This guy here, I don't know his name. He's the bearded one that does the falsetto. He's a highlight of the show. Any song that he's singing on sounds amazing. I love this, but it's probably the only Doobie Brothers I'm going to need because it's that good. All right. Cool. So if you remember back when I did some Iron Maiden alternate universe cover art, one of the songs I did basically, you know, single releases of songs that weren't singles. I imagined cover art for them and made it out of Lego. So one of the songs I did was Phantom of the Opera, but I'd never seen Phantom of the Opera, so I had to do some research. So I did some research, watched the movie and all that, blah, blah. And then I decided, hello, Henry. Then I decided that I need to get this, which is the Phantom of the Opera at the Royal Albert Hall. This is great. Obviously, the title track is great, but I love the notes ones when they're all like reading the notes and stuff. It's sort of like a sort of half spoken, half sung thing, and it's quite funny. It's sort of like, you know, gradually get more people come in with like, you know, this note I received, and then the next person comes in and.
Yes.
Sorry, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think yesterday was the anniversary of Paul Stanley's closing show as
I saw something about
in Toronto. That. Yes, and I did see him. I saw that performance. Musicals aren't my thing. I was a Kiss fan, and there were a lot of leather jackets in the audience.
Yeah, you mentioned that when you wrote it up. There were a lot of Kiss fans there. I'd love to get a recording of that. It's a piece of history.
I imagine contracts would have had to have been carefully drawn and probably expensive, but I thought it was a real miss that they didn't release a CD of Paul Stanley's performance, because Kiss fans would buy that. I mean, it would be just as big as the other more famous releases in Canada anyway. Just my opinion.
All right, so last couple ones. So this is one for Peter. I decided I needed some live prints, so I bought this one. You got this one recently too.
Yes,
2 discs and a Blu-ray.
It's great. I have the accompanying with these together. You basically have what would be like a super deluxe Prince Purple Rain box set with these two together.
I decided I needed some live Spandau Ballet. So live 1986. One thing, I'm not showing this off, but I got a live Depeche Mode CD EP because it was dirt cheap and I was getting something else. Tony Hadley, the lead singer for this, sounds like he's a dead ringer for the singer from Depeche Mode. They sound exactly the same. But I like this. You know, I'm probably not going to buy every Spandau Ballet album, but a nice live DVD I'll go for. So this one's a bit newer now. So Franz Ferdinand, this is the CD single for Take Me Out. Undoubtedly their most well-known song. I like the back cover art. It's a reverse of the front.
That's cool.
But I mentioned great B-sides. That one of the B-sides on here, All For You, Sophia. I think it's just as good as the A-side. I love that song. And then, you know, this for like $2.50 or like $5 from an Australian seller, I got this. This is their live DVD, 3 concerts and then a highlights package. So 4 versions of Take Me Out live for like $5, plus some other songs which I like. You know, no brainer. It's a steal for that much. And lastly for this round, this is my longest round. The others aren't going to go on as long. So a few weeks back, Mike showed off an album that by a dubious artist, artist in the loosest sense of the word, that he described as his most embarrassing CD that he owned. It was a collaboration with Jimmy Page. Now I'm going to put forward my contribution for most embarrassing CD I own. This is Fergie's The Duchess. This is the deluxe edition, and the reason I own this is yeah, you're getting a close up of that. You are.
Yeah.
The reason
That's
I own
Harrison
this is
holding
because,
that.
yeah, I'll put my face up too so you can see.
Yeah. Guilty. I'm gonna make like a this. Okay, so remind me at the end of the show. I'm gonna make like a screenshot of that with like guilty or something.
Guilty as charged. Yeah, no. The reason I own this is because the deluxe edition features a bonus track of her cover of Heart's Barracuda. Now, the thing with Fergie is obviously she sang in Black Eyed Peas, she sang in her own stuff. Usually she's singing stuff like Fergie-licious and, you know, Shut Up. But she has a great, great voice. Like, as a rock singer, she sounds amazing. It's unfortunate she didn't go down that road, because her cover of Barracuda is amazing, I think. I famously don't like Heart, but because I don't like the singer's voice. But this song sung by her, I think it's great. So, you know, the curse of being a physical media collector, when there's a song you like, you have to have it on CD. So it was this or the Shrek soundtrack, Shrek 3 soundtrack, sorry. And, you know, I went for this. The cover art's slightly better, I think. And yeah, the Shrek 3 soundtrack is probably not that great compared to that. But that's my round one of new bands.
Was that me? Sorry. This is just a train wreck of a show in classic Grab a Stack of Rock.
Yeah, we're hitting all the hits today.
All right, so we've already given a shout out to Peter Kerr for turning me on to Prince anyway. That's why I own Purple Rain, and then I got the double live to go with it. But he also got me into a band called Faster Pussycat. And this actually was bought the same day that I bought that Arkells vinyl. I went down to Encore Records. No, sorry, it was the day I bought the Arkells CD. I went down to Encore Records because I was doing my live show with Kat that night, and I needed the album in hand to do the show. And Encore had this in stock as well. And I haven't opened it yet. I just haven't. I've got so much music that I haven't played yet. But, you know, it's there waiting for me. This has all 3 of the first big Faster Pussycat albums and then a Live and Rare EP. So that's my kind of style. Here's one I got in the summertime. King Cobra with Paul Shortino on lead vocals. Actually, it's an interesting lineup. Carmine Appice on drums, or Appice. Is he Appice or Appice?
I don't know.
I think he's Appice. Or is that?
I think so, yeah.
Paul Shortino on vocals. Carlos Cavazo from Quiet Riot and Rat on guitar. Rowan Robinson from Dio on guitar. And King Cobra bassist Johnny Rod. So this is a serious lineup. And I, unfortunately, just as good as it sounds when I'm listening to it, it just doesn't stick. There's one song in here that I think it's the last one that kind of jumps out. It's consistent. It just never grabbed me. Never grabbed me.
Yeah, I have a bunch of these albums that I like. I enjoy listening to them when I listen to them, but I just don't remember how they go afterwards, sort of thing.
Right. It's an enjoyable listen when I'm playing it. Shortino's a great, great singer, and that's a good lineup right there. I mean, you can't say anything bad about any of those players. And because I'm not going to take up a lot of time, I'm going to let you do most of the talking today. I'm going to show off just a couple more things. Back to Mr. Peter Kerr. We have a show coming up about this album, Brain Salad Surgery, ELP. And I got to say, I found this album to be extremely challenging. This is not for the weak. I bought the deluxe edition because I'm stupid. The truth is, though, I do value that H.R. Giger artwork. I think that's something that I'm happy to have in my collection. We did the show, Peter and I. We recorded it, I think, in September, and he trickled out a trailer a couple of weeks ago, and he's going to debut, or as he would say, debut, the actual show in a few more weeks. But I really struggled. That'll be probably obvious in the show when it comes out. Haven't listened to it since that week. That's all I'm gonna say. And last for this round, I believe this album celebrated an anniversary this week. And that would track with my memories because this was the first CD that I remember Jen buying me when we first started dating. Let me see if I can do a cool. How's that look? Does that look cool? Does that look like I'm Paul Stanley?
Yeah, you definitely got a few frames there when it lined up perfectly.
So maybe that'll be the thumbnail
that
image
works.
right there. That'll be the thumbnail image. Yeah, so it's special to me for that reason. I don't particularly care for this CD. He was using the backing band from one of those TV talent shows. I can't remember which one. Maybe it was Rockstar or something like that. But there's a few good songs. I love the title track, Live to Win. I love the closing track, Where Angels Dare. Wake Up Screaming. I like that tune. It's got a great chorus. It's very Kiss-like. It kind of reminds me of a song called Tell Me, although not nearly as heavy. There's a lot of ballads on this, and it's very modern, processed production, and I do not care for the production. I was very excited that Paul Stanley was coming out with another solo album because, Harrison, as you know, that first Paul Stanley solo album is my favorite. I love it. I love it. And I wanted to love this, and it didn't do it. But a lot of people don't know this. There was a Paul Stanley live DVD that came out, but not a lot of people know that there was also an audio version that came out. This is not a physical CD that you can buy. This is my burned copy of the iTunes downloaded tracks from Paul Stanley.
Audiophiles everywhere are screaming right now.
Audiophiles are screaming, but they can F off. Because I'm, you know me and audiophiles. We do not get along.
I'm not
one. Get along. We haven't got along since the days of the record store. Yeah. But it's a really good set of Paul Stanley Kiss songs and Paul Stanley solo tracks from all the albums, basically. Like, he plays a lot of stuff here that you're not going to find anywhere else. Wouldn't You Like to Know Me Live, Magic Touch Live. And then some other songs from his current solo albums, such as Lift and See You Around, Bulletproof.
When they released Lift in Europe, did they call it Elevator?
No, I think they called it. No. Yeah, they did. Million to One live. Like, these are really good Kiss songs, some deep cuts. And, it's something that Paul easily could have and should have released as a 3-disc CD DVD combo set. Opportunities missed. But hey, Deep Purple did the same thing with the Bombay Calling, and they did officially release that eventually. So maybe there is hope. You never know. All right, let's do. Oh my God, it's already 8:45 in Canada. Let's do round 2.
All right, round 2, bootlegs. You know I love a good bootleg. And I've picked up a lot. They're more accessible than ever these days. The first thing I'm showing off is not a bootleg, it's a promo, but there's a reason I'm including it in this stack. So this is basically, Wacken does these, used to do these annual CDs. This is a promo version. It's only got 2 of the 3, but it's the 2 most important ones. So this is from Wacken 2004. So the highlights for me are Dio, Holy Diver, Dio, Don't Talk to Strangers, 2 Motorhead songs, We Are Motorhead and Life is a Bitch. Now, Motorhead, whenever I see Motorhead on these Wacken shows, it's not like, you'd expect, like Ace of Spades and, their more well-known stuff. It's always deeper cuts, which I find interesting and a credit to them. What else is here? There's Doro for Imma. Sorry.
So that's a bootleg? That's not an official release?
No, it's a promo, okay. But I'm including it in the bootlegs for a reason we'll get it to at the very end.
So you realize I'm doing this right now because a promo is an official release,
I know,
which means I must own it. I must.
Yeah. Anyway, Doro for Imma. Then on disc 2, Anthrax Indians and Anthrax Only. Now, this is John Bush singing in Anthrax. I don't know anything about that. Is John Bush live with Anthrax like easy to get a hold of, or is it like Blaze where there's like bugger all?
If John Clauser is still watching, he would know the answer to that question better. But I don't have any Anthrax live albums with John Bush singing lead, personally.
All right, so there could be some neat rarities on here.
Yeah.
But the reason I bought it is for this Blaze Bailey track. Now, they've misspelled his name here. They've Bailey, but it's a duet with Doro. Do you remember when Doro released her Strong and Proud live album in 2014? She and Blaze did an orchestral duet cover of Fear of the Dark, Iron Maiden's song, mostly Blaze singing. Well, it turns out they actually did this way back in 2004 as well. But this time it's even better because it's got a horn section. This is the show with the famous goatee Blaze pictures I sent you a while back. But the reason why
don't look right. They don't look right.
They don't look right at all. The reason why I'm including this in the bootleg pile is because the attention to detail on this is not great. The songs that are listed as on promo CD1 are actually not burned, but they're actually on promo on disc 2, and the songs that are listed as on disc 2 are on disc 1. And you know, bootlegs have like questionable quality attention to detail.
Excellent.
Not this.
I don't know. I don't know.
Sorry.
Am I freezing? Am I chopping up? I'm having some
you look
Wi-Fi
good to
issues
me,
here.
I think.
Oh well, thank you very much. Oh, and Roger's in the house. Nice to see you, Roger.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's me, Michael's hero.
All right. Sometimes I'm in the mood for Chicago. When I'm in the mood for Chicago, I'm in the mood for live Chicago. This is live in Tanglewood, 1970. I love the Tanglewood show, so I'm so happy I was able to get a CD of it. This CD version isn't on Discogs. There is a version on Disc. Obviously, you can't buy bootlegs on Discogs, but I use Discogs to check track listings of bootlegs. The one on Discogs has a different cover, and it doesn't have the bonus tracks. There's 7 songs here from the Fillmore West, California, 1969. So I bought this show in particular because it's got 25 or 6 to 4, I'm a Man, we'll get to that, I'm sure, and Make Me Smile, which are my 3 favorite Chicago songs. So getting all 3 on one great show with the classic lineup is something I really wanted. Now, Dire Straits, Australia 1986 radio broadcast. I think this is the best thing Dire Straits have ever done. I think it's easily their best live album. Alchemy is an amazing live album, but it doesn't have Brothers in Arms tracks on it, whereas this one does. It's got Ride Across the River, which is my favorite Dire Straits song of all time. So Far Away, Walk of Life, Why Worry, Your Latest Trick, Brothers in Arms, and Money for Nothing. Plus, you know, almost all the classic songs you'd ever want. It's on Australian soil. Easily my favorite Dire Straits thing they've ever done. You know, thank God for bootlegs, because they haven't actually released an official thing from the Brothers in Arms tour physically.
Really?
All right. Pardon?
I really, that's surprising.
Yeah, they put some of the Wembley stuff up on YouTube, but there's been no physical release. Tanglewood is in Massachusetts. Not the last time we'll see Massachusetts in this pile. But I also picked up some Fleetwood Mac. I wanted to hear them from that period after the first time Lindsey Buckingham was kicked out. This is 1990. It's made up of a few sources, and then there's some bonus tracks from a Stevie Nicks solo show. But part of the reason I wanted to hear them after Buckingham left is because Tango in the Night is my favorite Fleetwood Mac album, and this has a bunch of Tango in the Night songs on it. Isn't It Midnight, one of my favorite songs from the band. Everywhere, Little Lies. I believe Seven Wonders is on here too. They also cover, because Billy Burnett is in this band, they cover the Burnett classic Tear It Up, which also Rocky covers on his live album. This period without Buckingham actually makes me appreciate Christine McVie a lot more, because when it's Buckingham and Nicks in the band, they're sort of like the focus, but with Buckingham gone, Lindsey Buckingham gone, it lets sort of Christine McVie come to the forefront a lot more. All right, now this could go in the Grail acquisitions. Now, there's a Black Sabbath bootleg from 1983. It's called Born in Hell. It's got a yellowish CD with the Grim Reaper on it. Extremely rare. I only saw it once on eBay, and it went for like $300 in bidding. But the same show is available as a radio broadcast bootleg. Thank the heavens. I bought this for like $30. It's, I think, the best of the 3 available shows with Gillan on vocals. What was I going to say? He sounds great here, but the production on this, like Born in Hell, the original CD release, sounded great. And I didn't even know that it could be improved on until I got this. I don't know what they did. I don't know if they went back to the master tapes or what, but they somehow made it sound even better. This sounds like an official release. The production is perfect on this. It's amazing. It's my favorite of the 3 shows with Gillan on vocals. I do have 2 more as well. I've got 3 shows from that Sabbath 83 tour.
Well, as you know, that's my favorite album of all time is Born Again.
No, but back when I first discovered the existence of Born Again, I was like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing ever, because the Deep Purple singer is in Black Sabbath. And then when I scrolled to the critical reception, I was dismayed to find out that the rest of the world at the time did not consider it the best thing ever.
Right. And for me, you know, I have told this story before, but I thought Ian Gillan was the Black Sabbath singer because when I was growing up, that was the lineup. And I actually, to plug a story I have coming, you will be seeing a story about my love for Born Again and my whole history with it coming up soon on my my blog.
Ian Gillan's demonic shrieks on stuff like Black Sabbath like add so much to the song. Like Ozzy's great, of course, but I've always said whatever Ozzy can do, Ian can do better.
I'm an Ian Gillan fan. What can I say? And I know Peter Kerr is out there. He's an Ian Gillan fan too. He loves Deep Purple, and I was a Black Sabbath fan first and foremost. But you know how much I love Purple too now.
All right. So as people know, I'm a big fan of No Prayer for the Dying. So I had to get this. Now, this photo is from the Peace of Mind tour, but this show is from 1990. So bootlegs, what do you say? You know, it's not the whole show, but it's got most of the show, and it's got most of the songs I want to hear from No Prayer for the Dying. This is the Wembley 1990 show. Some of this is available as official B-sides on Fear of the Dark singles, but this is like all of them in one place, and it's a bit cheaper than tracking down all those singles. Great show. Bruce sounds great. I love hearing the No Prayer for the stuff live, for the Dying stuff live. By the way, this cover on the inside is no better. This is from the World Slavery Tour. You might notice why the disc is missing, because it's not a jewel case, it's like a slip thing. So what I did is I took the disc, I took a leaf out of Mike's book. He was the inspiration for this. I got my No Prayer for the Dying 1998 remaster, transferred it to a double jewel case, and put the bootleg on the back. So now I've got a 2 CD No Prayer for the Dying.
So is there anything on there?
Good company.
What songs are on there, if any? What songs are on there, if any, that are not on official singles?
As in from this performance, or
from that
tour,
from that era, the No Prayer era?
I don't know. Basically, anything from the classic albums on this bootleg is not available on the singles because the singles only featured No Prayer songs. So I'll just read off the track list. Tail Gunner, hate that song. Public Enema #1, love that song. Wrathchild, that's exclusive to the bootleg. Die With Your Boots On, exclusive to the bootleg. Hallowed Be Thy Name, exclusive to the bootleg. Holy Smoke, love that song, but available elsewhere. No Prayer for the Dying, love that song, probably available elsewhere if I remember. The Clairvoyant, exclusive. 2 Minutes to Midnight, exclusive. The Trooper, exclusive. Iron Maiden, exclusive. Number of the Beast, exclusive. And Run to the Hills, exclusive. Bruce sounds great here. It's a great show.
Well, that's excellent. So yeah, that's I think, not sure if all of those songs are on B-sides, but you can get all of them officially on.
I think like The Assassin and Hooks in You were also available on B-sides, but on that broadcast show. Another one
definitely.
for Holy. Yeah. Oingo Boingo, live in Los Angeles, 1984. Now, this isn't the best sounding show. It's clear. There's no tape issues, but it's very brittle sounding. It's about a 3 out of 5, but it's still very listenable. The thing is, when it comes to live Oingo Boingo on CD, this is all you've got. You could track down the original Boingo Alive, but that's very expensive and rare. So basically, this is all you've got. It's a great track list. I mean, there's no competition for Boingo CDs, bootlegs. So 17 songs from their first 4 albums, or 3 albums actually, I think, and the EPs. So good little pickup. I always wanted to have some live Boingo on CD. Now, Alice Cooper, El Paso 1980. Mike has this, but not this version. Yeah. This is a newer version. It's 2-disc.
Oh.
So what do you get for your 2 discs? Well, you get a couple more extra songs. You get You and Me, which isn't on Mike's original. And I don't think Under My Wheels was on the original as well. I believe that's missing too. You also get a bunch of DJ interviews, very short things. He asks Alice a question. They're scattered throughout. They're fun. It's not like a big chunk at the end that you got to get through. It's sort of in between all the songs. So, no, I love Flush the Fashion, so I had to get some live stuff from that tour. I know Jex is a good fan of Flush, so I'll just list off the Flush the Fashion songs for anyone interested. Grim Facts, Pain, Talk, Clones, Nuclear Infected, Dance Yourself to Death. That's a lot, actually. Wow. And then there's stuff like Black Widow, You and Me, I Never Cry. Good stuff on here. Gutter Cat versus the Jets. Mike knows everything that's on here. Guilty. Yeah. But for anyone else who's interested.
I'm just going to interrupt you real quick.
Yep.
Just going to, because I apologize. I had no idea how late we were going to run. I asked people to start showing up around 9 o'clock to say hello. And Johnny Metal just dropped in to say hello.
What's up? What's up?
Well, we're just going through some live bootlegs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was going to ask you something. I don't know if you were watching the John Bush Anthrax era. How easy is it to get live stuff from that tour? Or that era? Sorry, I've jumped straight into business, but it was
I honestly haven't looked on the. I haven't looked lately for any of that kind of stuff, so I don't know what's out there available off the top of my head. I've never seen. Let's put it this way: I've never seen that kind of stuff at local record shows. But then again, that kind of stuff doesn't usually come to Birmingham, Alabama. So I have to probably go to a much bigger city, or to an Atlanta or New York or Philly or something like that to catch something like that. But yeah, I don't usually see that kind of stuff too much at our local shows. But I mean, I'm sure it might be.
All right, and for anyone interested, the DVD version of that Wacken show has 2 different Anthrax songs with John Bush on vocals. So there's 4 across the CD DVD. So
Harrison, there could be according to Wikipedia, there's a single CD Anthrax live album with John Bush called Music of Mass Destruction. It has 12 tracks on it.
So there is something out there, but if anyone's a huge fan of that, of John Bush, there's a bit more.
Hey, look, it's your boss.
Yeah. As I put it to Mike, I was press ganged into his brigade of Australians for his monthly Australian shows.
Yes, that's exactly.
Hey, what a good group to be a part of, though. In my opinion,
can't deny that. See, I've just got a few more.
And at least you guys are all in the same time zone, kind of.
Oh yes, so that does help. Yes.
So that's got to make it a little bit easier.
Definitely, yeah.
But please don't let
Johnny.
I'm
Johnny, if you wanted to hang out with us, Harrison's just going to show us some more cool live bootlegs. He has already shown that wasp, that cool wasp. But yeah, Harrison,
I shall hang out for a little bit.
Sounds good.
All right, so I've got a few more bootlegs. These are like those big radio compilations with like 6 to 8 discs that you can get. So the first one, Black Sabbath, 6 CD, 1975. This is the famous 1975 show that's available around bootlegs. It's not the whole show here, but it's got 13 songs, so it's most of it. Asbury Park, 1975, that famous show from the Sabotage tour, I believe. So yeah, it's good to have that. I think it was available officially on the Super Deluxe, but I don't have that. Then you get 1980. I believe this is Sydney, Australia, 1980. Not bad. The sound quality is not the greatest, but it's listenable. There's a version of Sweet Leaf here with Ronnie James Dio singing. They did do that on the Heaven and Hell tour, and there aren't any official versions of it. 1983, but a different show to the one on the Born Again Deluxe and a different show to the Massachusetts one. This is the one that has Supernaut, which is hilarious with Ian Gillan singing. Rock and Roll Doctor and Disturbing the Priest. Those are the unique ones on here. I think you have that one, Mike, or
Mine has
Awesome.
Rock and Roll Doctor and does it have Disturbing the Priest? Yeah, I think it does. What was the other track you mentioned?
Supernaut.
Don't think it
Sorry, I
has.
don't think
You know-
Disturbing the Priest is unique. It's only Supernaut and Rock and Roll Doctor. They're the unique
You know
ones
what?
on this.
Give me a second to dig into my music folder here.
Yeah. I'll just
And
read
I
out the
will-
other three shows then. So
Yeah, go for it.
1989 with Tony Martin. This Tony sounds amazing here. That's the best damn version of The Shining I've ever heard. It's phenomenal. The only problem, there's some tape issues. Like, it's not the best sounding recording at times, unfortunately, which is a damn shame because it's the best sounding version of The Shining I've ever heard. Then you've got 1990. This is the least interesting show on here. There isn't actually anything from Tear on here. It just looks like a standard Headless Cross tour set list. And then you've got Malta 1995. This is cool. It's from the Forbidden Tour. And you actually get I Won't Cry For You in addition to Rusty Angels. So an
Nice.
additional Forbidden song that they played on there. It's cool.
I love I Won't Cry For You.
I do, yes. I love most of Forbidden. Rusty Angels is actually the only song I don't really care for on there, which is why it annoyed me that it was the one song that they always played on that.
So by the way, I do have the version with Supernaut. Yes.
Yeah. So you've got two, and then I've got Massachusetts as well. So I've got three shows from that era. So, and I'd buy a
Right.
fourth if they put out another one with the Super
Let's hope.
Deluxe remix or whatever they're planning
Let's hope.
on. So I briefly showed this off on my very first reappearance, the End of a Nurse Cat show. This is Zeppelin. So you get 1969. This is actually, funnily, the best quality sounding recording on here. It's the 1969 show. Cool stuff on here. 1973, there's 2 discs dedicated to that. Obviously, 73 is the same tour from Song Remains the Same. So I think Communication Breakdown, Thank You, and How Many More Times are sort of the unique things from here that weren't on Song Remains the Same. Oh, there's Dancing Days too. Those are the unique ones. 1980, this is cool. You get Train Kept Rolling, In the Evening, which is a song I like. All of My Love, I love that song too. Achilles' Last Stand, a bunch of other cool stuff from their career. Then you get 2 from 1977. This is cool because I believe there's nothing official from 1977. You get 10 Years Gone, The Battle of Evermore, Going to California, Black Country Woman, Over the Top. Those are the unique ones on here. And then you get from 1975. Some of this was available on the DVD, not this exact show, but the songs. The cool thing from here is Sick Again. I don't think that was on the DVD. Rain Songs also on here, and No Quarter too, a 1975 performance of No Quarter. Yeah, so yeah, some very cool stuff on here. It sort of covers their whole career more or less.
Yeah,
And then
that's a
lastly-
really good set.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not always the best quality recordings, but bootlegs. It's all listenable. Put it that way. And lastly, Iron Maiden, 8 CDs. So there's 1982, 17 songs from 1982. I don't really care about this because I have Beast over Hammersmith, but it's not bad to have. 10 songs from 1981. I have them. This is from the same show as that Made in Japan bootleg I showed off last week, so I don't need this. But if you don't have Made in Japan, you get 10 of the songs on here, as in if you don't have the bootleg. There's the same show from 1990 that I bought earlier. So if you don't have that, it's cool. You get it here too. You get some stuff from 1992, which is the least important stuff on here because we got so much from that era officially live. But the reason I bought this now, there's 2 CDs here. It's listed as 2000, as in from the year 2000. But if you look at the track list, you'll know it's from 1998 because it's covered in Virtual 11 stuff. It's Stockholm 1998. It's most of the show. There might be 1 or 2 songs missing, but it sounds great. Blaze, I know you have Virtual Light Strikes Over France, Mike. Huge difference. In Stockholm, he was on fire, on top of his game. Sounds great here. How many Virtual 11 songs do you get? I think it's all but 1. Future Real, Clansman, Angel and the Gambler, Lightning Strikes Twice, Two Worlds Collide, Educated Fool, 6. So you get 6 of the 8 songs, and they played 7 of the 8 songs on this tour. So load of Virtual 11 stuff for fans of Virtual 11, and a few songs from the Bruce era. Most they left off like the Trooper and the Number of the Beast and stuff that he can't really do, and they put on stuff like Fear of the Dark and 2 Minutes to Midnight that he's much better at. So it's actually it's probably one of the best Blaze bootlegs out there. So yeah, Stockholm 1998. Pick that up if you do find it, and if you like Blaze live with Maiden. So that's my bootleg round.
You've shown off a lot of stuff that I want. A lot in that round alone that I want. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, I'm like all over bootlegs. I love them.
I do too, but I do not have a collection that rivals what you have. What about you, Johnny? Do you have a lot of bootlegs in your collection?
I don't usually
No.
pride myself in bootlegs too much. One, I just figure I don't have the space. Plus, like I said, I don't have the access to get to see and find that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's hard because
So
Discogs doesn't allow you to sell bootlegs. You can't buy them on Discogs. You have to like find them in real life or get really lucky and someone's selling one on eBay, and it's usually a bit expensive then anyway. But you don't have many options. I'm a huge fan of live music, so I'm always getting bootlegs.
Oh
for
yeah, I mean,
tours that
I
weren't
enjoy it
officially
too.
released. Yeah.
The
It's not
closest
easy
thing
to
I
get
probably
them.
let's just say the closest bootleg things I would be when I saw Kiss back on the Revenge tour, and it was the first show
that's
of
a
the
great
tour, and I found somebody who made a bootleg video of that first show from the Revenge tour. It was called The First Taste of Revenge. So I actually have it on video cassette somewhere in my mess, but yeah, it was nice to watch because I remember, oh yeah, Paul did sound a little off there, but there was a great set, good show. So I'm glad I got to see it, and I can relive it anytime I want to, as long as I have a VCR to play it on.
Yeah,
Hey,
Mike
Harrison.
has the Unholy Kisses bootleg that is like,
Yes.
I really want that. If I ever see that, I'm buying it immediately.
That was from the club tour, and I think it was LA.
Hmm.
Hey, Harrison.
Yes.
What would you do if I told you your boss was here to see you?
Harrison.
Don't worry, I didn't share any of our secret plans with him.
All right, that's okay. Hello, Johnny Metal, Mike,
Peter.
Peter,
long
how are
time
you
no
doing
see.
tonight?
Yeah, good. Just checking up on my my staff.
He's been on good behavior tonight. He's just showed off a whole bunch of really cool live bootlegs, including some Maiden and some. We were talking about Black Sabbath with Ian Gillan on lead vocals, and he has
fantastic.
some live stuff. Yeah,
Absolutely. Harrison, that lamp, I sent it over. It's so you should receive.
I
the
do have
delivery
something
tomorrow,
set up
mate.
now, but it's not as strong as I would have liked.
Yeah, so
But
you should get that tomorrow from Kmart. So it's all good.
Well,
Yeah,
from what I can tell, just from my observation point here in Canada, is that all the sunlight in Australia is currently in Peter's area of Australia, while Harrison's is in darkness.
yeah, I'm on like a sheltered side that doesn't get direct
Yeah.
sun, which is good because I have stuff on here. I don't want sun damaged, but I've also got like shelves and drawers like half in front of the window, so it's very dark in here. It's like a cave.
Yeah, just as you said that, I felt like the light was coming through. Your aura was shining through. That was good.
Yeah, I saw it as well, for sure.
Yeah. And Johnny, the Contrarians album show, it's all still running, still going.
Yeah, they haven't. I haven't gotten it booted off the air yet. So
good.
Knock
maybe I'm doing
wood.
something right. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Next week we'll be on fire. So
I have a theory about
might make
this.
a return soon, so we'll just stay tuned.
Okay.
I have
Alright,
a theory
very
about
cool.
this, which is that Grant just finds it easier just to hit reply all, and then it's just the same group of us for the last 4 weeks in a row. But it's been a blast. I've enjoyed it very much. Yeah, it'd be good to have Peter back.
Yeah, coming soon.
Yeah,
I've been
good to have
busy with
somebody who
work
knows what
and
they're
all.
talking about on there.
No,
So
you
Peter,
do
what
a
are
good
you
job.
up
Instead they get
to?
me.
So Peter, what are you up to this morning down in Rock Daydream Nation?
I did a show with Toddy Evans, and we talked
Ooh.
about Led Zeppelin Presence, and that was a blast.
Ooh.
So that'll be coming soon. Maybe
Great album.
my favorite Led Zeppelin album, but had a blast doing that. And a few things in the Rock Daydream Nation world coming soon. So
Yeah, there may have been.
looking forward to the Mad Max show next week. Looking
yeah.
forward to Harrison talking about his love about the Thunderdome.
And
that's
and
coming.
showing
That's coming.
like I'm not going to spoil anything, but there will be some serious rarities shown off.
Looking
Whoa.
forward. No, seriously, I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
Have you seen the art?
What's that?
I haven't
Mike
even
shown
seen
you
the
the-
art. I
I
haven't
sent
even
it
seen
to you
yet.
with the same email as the 2 years art. I need to update
Oh.
it for the updated time. I'll update it today and resend it. It's
Okay.
good art.
For those who don't know, Harrison does all the Lego art, and I know for a fact that he has a Lego V8 Interceptor. So I wouldn't be surprised if that makes an appearance in the
I
art.
credited us as hot-tempered Harrison, pissed off Peter, and Mad Mike.
Yeah.
To go with Angry Anderson.
Angry
Well,
Anderson,
hopefully he
yeah.
doesn't show up.
Oh,
Mike
geez,
would give
wow.
him an earful.
guys, I just realized we have a full house here tonight, actually. Because look who's here! It's Jex Russell,
Uh-huh.
all the way from New Brunswick.
Jex is in the
Canada.
now. Jex is in the dark. He's in witness protection.
It's the only place he can get some peace and quiet.
I'm in the car.
Oh boy.
Jex, did you see this one?
What is that? Hold on. It's so small.
Alice Cooper Live 1980, 2 discs.
Oh,
Flush the Fashion
nice.
Tour.
Yeah.
awesome. I love Flush the Fashion.
How are you doing?
Well,
tonight,
you'd be
buddy?
the only one.
I love
That was a
Flush
lot.
the Fashion. Special Forces and Flush the Fashion are in my top
I think
5 albums.
there might be 5 people who like those albums. Anyway,
Yeah,
We
it's
have,
Harrison, me, Tim, and
We have discussed
I,
this.
I have
am-
I have the whole catalog, and I haven't started listening through it yet. But I'm gonna start making, because I've never listened to that blackout period. So that's kind of where I want to really focus on. But yeah, I'm gonna get there.
Well,
but I just haven't taken the time to
well,
start.
I'm
you'll be
excited.
focused. You'll be more focused than Alice when he was recording it. Put it that way.
Probably right,
I-
from what I've heard.
I know in Riff Kills Man, Martin Popoff said that you could take all of the deep cuts from those Blackout albums and create one like killer Alice Cooper album from those best tracks. But I do find some of those albums a bit of a slog. I mean, I appreciate them a lot more now. I used to hate Dada, but now I kind of like I like Dada. But
As much as I love that period, I do agree with Martin that you could get one amazing hits collection out of that.
you could.
And I don't usually agree with Martin.
It's a pile of bullocks. I think it's crap.
That might be a show for
Absolute
another day. the
rubbish.
Blackout era.
Absolute rubbish.
Just tell
let's
us
put a pin
exactly
in
what you
that.
feel, Peter. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling your emotion coming through with this, Peter. I don't know.
No, just-
Yeah. I like.
Gotta
I
call
like.
it as you see it.
That's absolutely a show in the future, Mike.
Have Jex and I ever been on a show? I'm not sure. I'm
I
just
don't
remembering. Have
remember.
I actually met you,
The
Jex?
Monsters.
I don't know.
Once
Oh, brief. fleeting,
bonus
yeah.
tracks that should have been on the album.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
a long time
Pretty
ago.
good.
That was a long time ago. Yeah, we're due for
Absolutely.
reunion.
Well,
Reunion special. Yes.
Are we having a reunion
Big
now?
time.
I guess.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is the reunion
both, yeah.
special. It's
It's
Harrison
the,
still
tease,
going
it's
there.
the tease of the reunion. It's the tease of the reunion.
Yes.
The reunion.
Yeah.
The reunion before the reunion.
Hey, Mike.
Now
the
we're
album
starting to sound like
title's covered
Spinal
up
Tap.
now.
Sorry, what's
Yeah.
that, Harrison?
The album title's covered up now in the background.
I noticed. You know
Oh.
what? And for my turn, I was just going to explain that album title. If I don't know if you have the CD handy.
All right, go ahead.
You have it
I
handy?
can reach over and grab it. If my
Yeah.
audio cuts out, it means I knocked something I wasn't supposed to.
I don't know if I don't even know if Roger's still watching, but apparently
So
Liz
wait-
wants to know.
This is the Japanese CD. It's got 2 bonus tracks. I keep all my Obi strips inside here so they don't get messed up on the shelf. But it is
And
the
that's-
Japanese.
And that soccer ball artwork on the CD is sort of a clue as to what the band's name is, which is the
Yeah,
Sultans
I love
of
that.
Ping
art. I think
FC.
that's great.
Sultans of Ping FC, which means football club. and they are an Irish. What would you call them? Like punk band? Would you call them punk?
I guess it's a bit punky, yeah.
So the story goes back in this would have been 1997, early 97.
The album's from 93.
The album is from 93. In 1997, my good buddy T-Rev was putting together a new store location. His store was moving to a bigger one in Cambridge, Ontario, Canada, and they'd brought in all of this stock that they'd bought off other stores and just lot sales. And there was a bunch of garbage and there were a few gems here and there. And they spent like, I don't know, 2 months putting the shelving together, inventorying all the CDs and pricing them. And as they're going through all these stacks of CDs, they're putting all the artwork in new jewel cases so they'd be presentable to sell, all of this routine stuff. And then all of a sudden, as they're going through the piles, they found that CD. If you want to hold up the cover again, they found this, and they were both into the guys that were working there, Trevor and Neil, they were both into Britpop. And they saw this and they're like, well, that looks kind of Britpoppy. You know, that looks like it could be some kind of like Blur type of band.
Yeah.
And then they put it on. They placed it in the CD player, and the first song, Back in a Tracksuit, came on, and the vocals are shrieky in a cool yet hilarious way. The lyrics are hilarious. And then what's the next track, Harrison? They just keep going, all these hilarious tracks.
Indeed You Are.
Indeed You Are. Oh my God. That one made him laugh because the way the guy sings, Indeed You Are, they thought he was singing Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. They're like, what is this? They're listening to it. Every song is just like making them laugh. There's a song where it's like,
Where's Me Jumper?
Where's Me Jumper is the closing track. There's a song about like, put on your flip-flops and let's go shopping, dear. And I'll push the trolley and you'll push the pram, stuff like that. They just found it hilarious. They put it on again. They hit repeat, played it again. And eventually they decided that they loved this band, the Sultans of Ping FC. And the store opened to the general public and they put the CD on hold. But no one could agree as to who got to buy the CD, because if you bought the CD, that means you couldn't listen to it in the store anymore. And it became their closing ritual. The last hour of being open, they would play Casual Sex in the Cineplex by the Sultans of Ping FC and close the store. Somebody bought it. They couldn't do that. So they had an agreement. Nobody bought it. Sat there on hold for months, maybe a year. I can't remember. Nobody bought it. Until one day they hired a new kid named Ian Light. And actually Ian Light's dad, Neil Light, is one of the members of a band called Starchild with Fritz Hines from Helix, which I just bought on CD recently. Ian Light was hired. They're playing this song at closing time. And Ian's like, what is this? Well, it's the Sultans of Ping FC. Ah, cool. And then as soon as he was off of his 3 months probation and his staff discount kicked in, he grabbed the CD, put it up in the counter and said, I'll buy it. And they couldn't say no because he was the new guy. And the boss said, it's ridiculous to have a CD that's in inventory, but not for sale. You have to sell it. And to this day, Ian Light still has that CD in his collection. And the other guys, this is like pre-internet. This is not pre-internet, but early days of the internet. You couldn't just order it. You had to have it in the wild. And that was it. No more Sultans of Ping FC. All we had was this crappy like cassette dub of it for many, many years until the modern day when I believe it was Aaron who gave me my first CD copy of it, and which I still have. And that's Harrison's Japanese copy of it there. And Harrison also pointed me in the direction of a 2 CD deluxe edition with all of the B-sides and EPs and everything from that album. So, that's the story.
So
that's all I have.
The Japanese bonus tracks and some additional bonuses.
That's 100% correct. So I don't even think Roger is watching, but that was the answer to your story, Roger. There.
No, I'm curious now. I got to go listen to that. Indeed You Are, especially.
Indeed You Are.
Where's Me Jumper is probably one of the best songs on there. Listen to that as well.
My brother knows Karl Marx. He caught him eating mushrooms in the People's Park. He said, "What do you think about my manifesto? I like your manifesto. Put it to the testo." And that's at the point where I forget
Where's Me Jumper.
Where's me jumper? Yeah, he went into a disco, dancing at the disco, bumper to bumper. Wait a minute, where's me jumper?
Yeah.
The jumper
And
is
my
a
mother
sweater.
will be so angry, and my brother will be so angry, and my girlfriend will be so angry.
It's easy to say that things will get better. You haven't lost your brand new sweater. It's like you can see why they found this appealing. It was that part of the 90s when punk was becoming, there was a resurgence, and this was kind of in the wheelhouse.
It sounds like if Dr. Seuss had a punk band, that would be it.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. If Dr. Seuss had a punk band, that's exactly a good way of putting it. Oh, goodness
That's exactly
gracious.
what it sounds like.
Anyway, that's really all I have to say. I'm not gonna take up any more time tonight. Harrison, you had a final round?
Yes, my third and final round is Grail items, and then stuff that I've been had on my looking for like ages, but only just recently picked up.
Well, those will be interesting.
Like this. This isn't really a Grail item, but it's something I've had on my radar for a while and only just got now. This is Warhorse.
With Nick Simper?
Not Paul Di'Anno's Warhorse. This is Nick Simper's Warhorse. This is their debut album. This isn't the most recent reissue, but it has the same bonus tracks as the most recent reissue.
There's the
Got the
Di'Anno.
whole album. Oh, Johnny, did you have it?
Hit the Di'Anno.
Well,
the
I was just showing that signed postcard just for silliness.
Yeah. So it's not a bad album. It's got like a bit of a bluesy feel. There's some good songs on here. Like Burning is probably the best song. Woman of the Devil's good too. And then the bonus tracks are 4 live versions of songs from the album, and then a demo of a song called Miss Jane. Now, they did do a second album. I don't know if that demo of that song ever made it on there. I'm not familiar with that second album, except to know that it has a cool sailing ship on it, so I will buy it for the cover art at some point.
Well, to plug Peter for a moment, I believe there might be some Nick Simper-related content coming up on Rock Daydream Nation in the weeks to come, maybe.
No, it's actually on a certain guy that you may be familiar with.
Oh, it was
Sterling.
It was you on his
Mark One show on November the 4th, I believe. I recorded that like a week or two ago. That was a gas, just talking all things Mark One Deep Purple. So, Tim, great to be on the show. That was fun.
I plugged the wrong guy's show.
But you can plug my show. I've got a show coming up that you guys should watch, and it's an interview with a guy who's been a recluse for 20, 30 years, played with Uriah Heep, Ozzy Osbourne, and he played the keyboards on the soundtrack of Spinal Tap, and he was actually a direct inspiration for a number of scenes in the movie Mr. John Sinclair. So watch that interview. He doesn't do interviews. He's actually a recluse, lives somewhere in the apparently in the Scottish Highlands, but he came out and did an interview with me, and it's just well worth watching.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, but he does these stories on the show that I was the one that spoke to Christopher Guest. Christopher Guest actually said, what is the worst gig that Uriah Heep had ever played? And he told him this story, and the story was put into the movie. So I won't tell you what the story is, but it was like a direct inspiration. So that blew me away. I didn't know about the Spinal Tap part of it. I knew that he played an Abominog and Headfirst and Equator, and he was Ozzy's, keyboard man up to 2003. But I had nothing. I had no knowledge that he was directly involved with the Spinal Tap soundtrack. So he does all the keyboard lines for what? It's the Vic Savage. Who's the keyboardist in the
Viv Savage? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's John Sinclair.
Wow. So there you go. That's going to be a bit of a Rock Daydream Nation exclusive that he doesn't do very often. Wow. Well, there you go. All right. Well, Harrison, what else? Go to your next.
So this next album was never prohibitively expensive on Discogs, but it was always enough that would make me pause and go, maybe I'll wait. But then I found it on eBay in pristine condition for $10. Some guy in Australia just didn't know what he had. Concrete Blonde, Group Therapy. This is their 2002 album, so late career stuff. So not easy to get a hold of. But this is the album that they were touring when they recorded their only live album. And I love that live album, so I wanted to get the album that they were touring at the time. The songs that they played on that live album are definitely the best of the songs that they from this album, but there's some other neat stuff on here. It's a dark album, you know, it's not the most happy album, but then again, Concrete Blonde never exactly played happy music. But I love the band still, and I'm glad to have that album for $10. So do you remember when Rolling Stones back? Sorry, yeah.
I was gonna say, Harrison, before you go on, I have a very funny Discogs story. You talk about sometimes people can get really cuckoo on Discogs. So Peter, you're going to be seeing this band, I think, in the next couple of weeks. You just interviewed one of the guys in the band, and so I had been looking for Metal City on vinyl because I'm trying to get all the Raven albums on vinyl, right? And there's still a couple I'm still missing, but this was one I've been had an eye on. Some guy just put it out there, and I hope he just made a misprint. With shipping from the United Kingdom was like $651.
Oh, that reminds me. I saw on Discogs a Paul Di'Anno album CD, like just a regular old CD. This seller from Poland had put shipping at $666.
Oh wow!
You know, I think it's real. It's. We should do a whole show on this. This eBay, Discogs, the shipping prices are just over the top. So you look at it, and you go,
the shipping part.
Sorry.
Yeah, I usually buy the thing that I want to buy, and then because shipping's expensive, I buy a second thing that's kind of cheap, so I can divide the shipping in two, and it doesn't seem as bad.
I do the same.
Well, the shipping was only like that part was like $100. I mean, the guy wanted like over $550 for the album. No, I did not pay $651 for this.
I should hope not.
I found a guy who was for about $60 with shipping. So, and it was from
more
Canada.
reasonable.
So,
yeah,
much more reasonable. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut off the story there.
No, it's fine. I interrupt enough people across shows that I'm happy to let other people talk. It helps my conscience. But anyway, do you remember back in 2012, Rolling Stones put out the compilation Grrr?
Yeah.
They had 2 new songs on that album, and I love those new songs so much. So, of course, I had to pick up Grrr Live.
Nice.
It's got Doom and Gloom, and it's got One More Shot Live, and it's got a whole bunch of other Stones stuff. Lady Gaga makes an appearance for Gimme Shelter, which sort of predates her appearance on their recent album, Hackney Diamonds.
Yep.
I'm Going Down with John Mayer and Gary Clark Jr. Who Do You Love with the Black Keys. Midnight Rambler with Mick Taylor. Tumbling Dice with Bruce Springsteen. So yeah, there's a couple of neat guests on this one, and of course, but I bought it mainly for Doom and Gloom and One More Shot Live.
Yeah. That's
so
cool.
this is
I want that the 5 CD Grrr box set. I want that.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. Oh.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I like the Grrr compilation, partly because of those new songs. But yeah. This isn't like Grail or hard to get, but it's something that I'm glad I finally have in my collection. Jon Snow will recognize it. This is Ailstorm's No Grave But the Sea, but it's the deluxe edition, which means that disc 2 is No Grave But the Sea for dogs. And what that means is that all of the vocals have been replaced with like tuneful dog barking. So, it's like, and so on and so forth. It's funny.
Are you sure?
Yes, it is funny.
So it's like,
I think I've heard dogs doing Christmas carols like that.
Jingle dogs. That's what I'm thinking. Is it's like the Jingle Dogs, where it was like,
Personally, when it comes to Ailstorm bonuses, I do prefer the 8-bit versions that they did for one album, but the dogs is funny. Oh, Jack's just left. I was about to show something for him. All right, I'll put that lesser in the stack. All right, so I've always wanted that a Coverdale version of Highway Star, because I think him and Hughes sound great doing it. Live in London doesn't have it. If you read the liner notes, the band didn't play an encore on that show for whatever reason. Richie was unhappy with something. But in Paris 75, they did.
Oh, they did.
This is also from the Stormbringer tour. So you got Stormbringer, the Gypsy. I love the Gypsy.
Yep.
I mainly bought it for Highway Star. But this is a jewel case version, by the way, Mike.
I was going to say,
Digipack.
mine's the Digipack version. I have I showed them off a while ago.
Yeah, I know Peter likes this album too very much.
I'm gonna have to go, guys.
Jax,
My
just
connection is
quickly.
getting weird. I can't hear. I just wanted to say
Sorry,
hello.
buddy.
Have a great night.
I got
Take
something
care.
to
Sorry,
show you
buddy.
right here.
Bye.
No worries.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
So Jax probably will have to watch this on the rewatch then. This is a CD single for Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick by Andrew and the Blockheads. Fun song.
Great.
Ignore
great
this. Pardon?
Great
Pardon,
song.
Peter? Yeah. Ignore this 91 bit. That's not why I bought it. This titular flying remix is on here. It sucks. You get the 7-inch and the 12-inch version. I don't care for that. The reason I bought this is, one, you get Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick, the original version, but you also get a live version of Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick from the Brixton Academy, which was the main reason I bought it, because I wanted a live version of this song that I like very much. I have the DVD with a different live version, so that's the other good news, is it's a different version to the one on the DVD. So now there's 2 live versions to enjoy.
I kind
So
of
this is one that made.
I kind of prefer getting the DVD versions on a CD so I can listen to them too.
Yeah, I wish I did have the DVD version on CD. As far as I know, there's no release for it. But then again, I have 2 versions to enjoy in official quality as opposed to just one, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So this is one that made Mike jealous when I showed it to him. Now, this doesn't actually narrow it down because Richie Blackmore has used this art for 3 albums. But this is it's a CD single, but it's not like a CD single in the normal sense. It's called limited exclusive concert edition, not for reproduction, distribution, or sale outside concert. So it's basically a short CD EP promo that they sold at concert. Now, the reason I got this is because it's the only physical release you can get for their cover of Black Sheep, their second cover of Black Sheep of the Family. Waiting for a Sign is available elsewhere on CD, but the main reason I bought it, The Storm, their cover of Blackmore's Nights, The Storm, I love, and this is the only place you can get it on physical media. This is called Rainbow Forwards, which translates to Rainbow Forwards. It's a nonsensical title, but I don't care about that. I bought it for the music.
And that's yet another CD. I haven't been keeping track, but I would say we're at about 7 discs that you've shown off tonight that I really, really, really want.
Yeah, so Mike has the Japanese version of Richie Blackmore's Rainbow Memories in Rock 2. That has physical editions of Waiting for a Sign, as well as their studio cover of I Surrender, which is on there. There's one more, Mike, is there?
Yeah, what's it called? Hope and Glory.
Yeah, those ones aren't on here, but they are on that. So you can get all of these iTunes singles on CD somewhere. But this one has The Storm and a great cover of Black Sheep of the Family, might I add. I love that version. Now, this is one that Mike won't want because he's already got it.
I do?
This is the 2 CD version, which comes with a bonus DVD.
I don't have that.
Okay, Mike wants this too. So the bonus DVD has The Making of Professor Sachafunculus. Then it's got Surfing with the Alien Live, Ice 9 live, and Satriani does a little intro. He talks to the audience because it's live in studio. It's a small studio that he's playing live. But the main reason I bought it, my favorite Satriani song, Crushing Day live. Now, the little it's also got a behind the scenes, but the little preamble he gives before Crushing Day explains why he doesn't, it hasn't appeared live anywhere else. So he's just like, well, first I wrote the guitar soloist sitting down in a chair with the guitar up here. But when I came to play it on stage, I found I couldn't play it with the guitar here looking cool, down here looking cool. And I'm not going to sit down on stage. So we sort of shelved it. But then he's like, but then it became a sort of fan favorite. So, we brought it back now and, we're going to try and play Crushing Day live. And then he launches into the song. And sure enough, during the solo, he quickly sits on a stool, plays the solo in the stool with the guitar up here, then gets up for the rest of the song.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a hilarious little preamble, and Crushing Day is my favorite Satriani song, so I was distraught that it never appeared live until now, but there's a good reason why. It's because you couldn't play it with the guitar down here looking cool.
Wow, you gotta look cool.
Yeah. So apparently Mike wants this too now, 2 CD edition of Scott Shaw. I've been looking for this for ages, and then I saw it in a Discog seller for a reasonable price. I was like, add to cart immediately. Yeah,
I want that.
Yeah. This is another one Mike wants.
Okay. I
This is
do.
Mr.
Yes.
It's Mr. Bean featuring Smear Campaign, but Smear Campaign is also featuring Bruce Dickinson on vocals. This is a charity single from 1992. It's a cover of Alice Cooper's Elected with Bruce Dickinson singing. So what it is you get I Want to Be Elected with Mr. Bean and Bruce Dickinson and Smear Campaign. This is the music video version, which features Mr. Bean talking. The music video follows him going around to the constituents, like saying like vote Bean and all that. So yeah, Mr. Bean actually talks, by the way, talks real words in English. So if you ever want to hear Mr. Bean talk, it's listen to this. So he goes through, and then at the very end, as part of the music video, Mr. Bean switches the ballot boxes. So at the very end, when they're reading out the votes, he's like, Conservative Party, this person, no votes.
No votes.
And he goes up to like 5 people, and he's like, Mr. Bean, 53,731 votes. I made that number up, but something like that. And he's like, may God have mercy on us all. And he shoots himself.
So that explains, because I've never seen the video, but I do have the song. That explains why all the parties have no votes except for the Bean Party, which
because the guys at the ballot box, he like points and they look, and then he switches the boxes with all ones for Mr. Bean.
Right.
Track 2 is I Want to Be Elected, but just Bruce Dickinson and Smear Campaign. So it's the song without Mr. Bean's over talking, which is great. You get both versions. And then number 3 is called The Manifesto, which is Mr. Bean reading his manifesto, spoken word, but it's actually a different manifesto to what he reads in the music video. So you get bonus funny stuff.
Okay.
There's one point he's some of the cool stuff. He's just like, I'm going to make petrol free for all cars, so long as you're driving like a green Mini registration. And then he reads off his car registration. And then he's like, so he says something about like, I'm going to give all your money back for you buy my record just as soon as it hits number 1. Sort of thing. It's a great fun. That one.
I like Mr. Bean. I always have.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing Mr. Bean has done. Bruce Dickinson singing Elected. It is that Fear of the Dark, screechy growl style. So if you don't like that, too bad. But I personally love that era as much as the rest of the Maiden eras. So I love this cover. So this is less rare. It's the first 10 years. I bought it because their awesome cover of Thin Lizzy's Massacre is not on Best of the B-sides. So I finally have that.
It's so good.
The rest is on Best of the B-sides, so it doesn't matter. Now here's an album I bought. It's a Grail item, but I bought it on spec. Now the reason for this, way back 2015, it's an odd one. Way back 2015, my local CD and hi-fi store and all movie store, they put out a magazine. So 2015, I'm leafing through this magazine. I get to the new music section and I see this album and I'm captured immediately by the cover art. I'm like, oh my God, that cover art is amazing. I never bought the album back then. I didn't have a job then or anything. But that album and the cover art always stuck with me. I was always just like, I just always remember, oh yeah, there's that Disturbed album with the amazing cover art. I've got to buy that sometime. So I finally bought Disturbed's Immortalized.
Oh, okay.
I bought it just for the cover art because I wanted to have it in my collection, but there are some good songs on here. Critical reception was like, this is one for the fans, mate, the diehard fans, and I can hear that in this. There are some good songs. They cover Simon and Garfunkel's The Sound of Silence, but it's slower, which I don't like. Sound of Silence is my favorite Simon and Garfunkel song, but I like it more lively.
You know my opinion of that. We've discussed.
But yeah, I love this cover art. I would love one day to be able to recreate it out of Lego. Disturbed do an awesome heavied up cover of Genesis's Land of Confusion, which I've got a friend who's going to give me that album. All right, so this is another one that I've had on my radar for ages. First, I'm just going to point out, yes, I tried to remove the sticker with it. I wasn't thinking, look what happened.
I see what it is.
Shame on me, shame on me. Collectors can all boo him.
That's a great album with Doogie White on lead vocals.
I love Doogie White, and they play some songs here that they don't play much at all. Like they play Still I'm Sad. It's only a short version, but I love that. I love Doogie White's take on stuff. And, the thing that surprised me the most was how much I liked the Stranger in Us All songs. I liked pretty much all of the ones on here a lot, Then I started looking like, maybe I need to get Stranger in Us All. So this is the 2 CD and 1 DVD version. So everything.
I only have the CDs.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I
this
don't know
is something.
Peter, sorry, I just want to ask. I want to ask Peter real quick how you feel about the Doogie White era of Rainbow.
I don't like the album that much, but I think Doogie is a fantastic singer, and I would have loved for Richie to do more albums. But yeah, I don't like the production on that album. I find it very dry. It's sort of, I like that warm, organic sound of the Dio albums, and some of the songs. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's one of my favorite, but I would have loved Doogie to, sort of for them to cut more albums and explore that lineup, because he had a wonderful set of pipes. And if Doogie debuted in the 80s, he'd be a superstar, but he was simply came out at the wrong time. Rainbow were on the skids. They were playing club dates. Like Pete Jones was telling me that he saw Rainbow play in, I think, the House of Blues, or like in a club, and there were only about 200 to 300 people there. So this is in the middle of grunge.
Yeah.
But I saw Rainbow 6-7 years ago when Richie did his final runabout, and it was at the O2 in England. And, Romero was the lead vocalist. I think Doogie would have done a fantastic job. I don't know. Maybe I would have preferred if Doogie was in the band, or even Joe Lynn Turner, who's still got the vocal range. But anyway, I'm rambling on a bit. I'm not a big fan.
Ronnie, he's a very versatile singer. He can sing all the eras, like
it's the enunciation
well enough, but he doesn't like
little. Yeah, just little.
Yeah,
things.
Sometimes when I'm listening to him sing Highway Star, I can't tell if he's messed up the lyrics or whether he's saying them right, and I just can't understand them.
I understand what you mean. There's 2 albums that I have with Ronnie singing lead, and I like them both. But yeah, I hear what you mean with the enunciation, and is it just his accent coming through? Probably a little bit of that, yeah.
But Doogie's a fantastic singer, really.
Oh,
really.
yeah,
I mean, as I said, if he was, he possibly should have got the Maiden job.
He was in the running. I think Blackmore.
He was the second pick, so Blaze got the job over him. So sliding doors.
Yeah, if you track down the right Iron Maiden tribute albums, you can get about 4 or 5 songs with Doogie White singing. Hallowed, Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter, Evil That Men Do, and I forgot the other one or two. They're great to hear. It's a real snapshot into what could have been.
Wow.
Yeah. So just not built for those times. But as I said, if he came, started out in 1985, he would have been a superstar.
Yeah. All right. Got a few more things left. This one I guarantee. Well, I don't guarantee because I can't guarantee, but I'm pretty sure no one's ever heard of this. This is the Matterhorn Project and Moo.
Hey, if Johnny Clouser hasn't heard of it, then nobody has.
So what this is they're a Swiss band. It's like the instrumental part is like basically this electronic sort of synth pop song, but the vocals are all like synthesized mooing sounds, like moo, moo, moo. It's incredibly catchy. That's the thing. It's even though it's funny, it's a very catchy song. So this is the CD single for Moo. There's a couple remixes on here I don't care for, but the original Moo. So we got dog sounds and we got cow sounds on here. I'm covering all the animals.
This is
wait until I show you the whale sounds album.
Oh
no, that's a joke. Johnny, yes. All right, so we are going to Maiden in the 90s. Now, Metal for Mothers. It's a bit difficult to track down an LP, but thankfully they put the 2 songs on one of the Virus singles, Sanctuary and Wrathchild, and of course Virus. But I bought this for the Metal for Mothers stuff. I really love both these takes on the songs. They're some of my favorite takes on these songs, especially Sanctuary. I love the ghostly guitar sound. And with this version of Wrathchild, you can very easily hear the Deep Purple influence on the band. There's like a part that feels ripped straight out of Stormbringer. And he's got that same sort of vocal effect that Gillan has, that slightly metallic sound to it. But yeah, I love those tracks, and I'm glad to have them finally. This is one that Tim put me onto. This is Tango in the Night. This is a DVD. It's a show from the Tango in the Night tour. It's got Everywhere, Seven Wonders, Isn't It Midnight, Little Lies, Oh Well from the Peter Green era that was rarely played. the Stevie Nicks original Stand Back, and then a few other songs from their classic era. It's a short show, but it was exactly what I wanted, which was great live versions of Tango in the Night songs, and some live documents of the first replacements for Buckingham, Rick Vito and Billy Burnett. I know this is sacrilegious to say because Buckingham is my favorite guitarist of all time, but in the guitar part, they can absolutely replace him. They do a great job, but vocally, every time they open their mouth, I'm like, I want Buckingham back. And then every time Christine McVie sings her bit, it's, oh, thank God. So that's what I was saying about it. It made me appreciate Christine McVie more because when Buckingham's not there, yeah, Christine. Whoa!
So you don't like? You're not a Knicks fan, Harrison.
Oh, I like Stevie Nicks, but as I talked about earlier, like when it's Nicks and Buckingham front and center, they're usually the focus of the show. Christine McVie's sort of in the background, but when Buckingham's not there, and Christine McVie's input becomes a lot more valuable.
Yeah, he's been unfairly written out of history because Nicks was saying it's either Buckingham or me, and he got the arse, which is really disappointing. Buckingham to me is like the brains of the band.
Yeah, he's my favorite guitarist of all time when you take into account singing ability, songwriting ability, and guitar playing.
Yeah. Do you like Tusk?
I love Tusk. It's my favorite Fleetwood Mac song. The album?
No, the album.
I haven't given it a proper listen, but I haven't. Yeah, I like What Makes You Think You're the One, and I love Tusk, but other than that, I haven't heard anything.
I think it's my favorite Mac album. I think it's a dark horse.
Tango in the Night. I know that's also a.
That's probably the very last album that I like of Fleetwood Mac, and then I think beyond that,
they recorded like
really
Time and Behind the Mask with the two other guys, and then The Dance I think is the best thing they've ever done. I think that was their career highlight. But after that, I don't think they did anything in the studio. Buckingham released a solo album. I do have that.
Tusk is a very underrated album.
My local record store every once in a while will show that they got a copy of the Buckingham Nicks album for sale, and it's usually always pretty expensive. It's never there when I get in there, so somebody keeps snatching it up. But I've never heard that album, and I've always been interested in checking it out since it's not officially on digital forms of any kind. So.
All right, just got two more things. I've wanted this for ages, and I finally got it. Meatloaf, Rock Palace, 1977, Bat Out of Hell original tour. Great show. Meat sounds great. Covers Johnny B. Good, River Deep, Mountain High. One of my favorite things about this is at the very end of the show, Meatloaf goes to one end of the stage and he runs across the stage, and halfway through he does this flawless, seamless tuck and roll, rolls over, gets up all in one movement and just keeps running. He does it like he does it every day, like it's the most natural thing to him. My jaw was on the floor. I don't mean to cast aspersions about his physical ability, but the last thing I was expecting him to do was do a forward roll like that so effortlessly, so flawlessly. It was amazing to see. And of course, he sings great too. We lost Meatloaf recently, but
I don't own a copy of Bat Out of Hell. I must be the only person in the world that doesn't have a copy of that album. And I've gone to record stores and I've lifted it up and I say, should I get it? And then I go, no, because I know all the songs. They got played on radio. Should I get it?
I don't have it either, Peter.
There's a 2 CD version that has a bonus Stevie. Sorry.
I was going to say, Peter, maybe we should do an out of our comfort zone on Meatloaf.
I'd be way out of my comfort zone. Or shows about records we should have but we don't own.
That would be a great idea.
John Metal, do you have Bat Out of Hell?
I had a copy that I probably ripped into my iTunes and then probably purged it. So I do have a copy of it in my iTunes. Yes.
But obviously,
my brother had the album years ago when I was a teenager. So I've long been familiar with the album. So no, I've always liked it. But not kind of like Henry, not a huge fan, but it's when it comes on, I'm not going to turn it off.
Yeah, I don't know. Is he supposed to be a parody of Bruce Springsteen? Because I always felt that
I don't
the
think
songs
so.
were sort of overblown, and it was sort of like every song sounded like Born to Run.
Yeah. He's got a very
really ramped up.
theatrical sort of stage presence and sound to him. Like there's
Very
like
Broadway.
Everything but the kitchen sink.
Yeah, Jim Steinman was his composer, and I think Steinman
Yeah.
might have had theatrical
Yeah,
influence.
Steinman was what made it sound like that. But you got to remember he was in Rocky Horror Picture Show prior to Bat Out of the Hell, so so he's coming off the stage. So yeah, he has that big bombastic, performance. But I don't know. I never thought of him as a Bruce Springsteen kind of person, but
No,
yeah, I can
wouldn't
see it.
say.
No,
I can see it a little bit.
I definitely there's a lot of Springsteen, but it's sort of ramped up. That sort of grandiose, but he does it in a very theatrical, maybe campy way. Anyway, that's my take. You mightn't like it, but it is.
Meatloaf's just a little bit easier to. It's easier for me to want to listen to Meatloaf than Springsteen. So
I find Meatloaf
And on
easy
that
to
bombshell.
digest. That was a joke.
Yeah. So, Mike, as I was just saying earlier, there's a 2 CD version of Bat Out of the Hell with a DVD bonus of music videos. Because I know you.
Oh, I would
your
like
bonuses.
that. I would like that.
Yeah, it's
I'd
the
consider
25th anniversary edition of the album.
I would check that out. I mean,
All right, so
I've bought other things on spec.
All right, so my final Grail item here is something that this is probably the greatest one of the list. It's the very last thing I've got here. So we will be getting out on time. This is the soundtrack to the NES video game Solstice, The Quest for the Staff of Demnos. Now, as you can see, this wizard was based on Jex, as you can see here.
Oh, clearly, I see it's the exact same build.
yes,
Yes.
does
So this is
Tinkerbell
an
ring
NES.
her little bells like this on this? No.
This is an NES game, so it's got a short soundtrack. I'll just go through some of the bonuses first. So you get this is the original game box art without text, and this is the Japanese game box art. You get a little art card there. Now this is because it's an NES game. The soundtrack's like 8 minutes, but it's great. It's composed by Tim Follin, who was legendary for his NES video game soundtracks, and I love the. People like to joke about the title theme that it's just Tim Follin writing prog rock on an NES chiptune, and when this man by the name of Tony Dickinson covered it, did a rock version of it, it sounds amazing. There's guitar harmonies, there's everything. So it's every piece of music and the 2-second death scream that happens when you die. It's everything I would have wanted. I love this soundtrack so much. It's on a 7-inch. Which way? How do I get into this? Here we are. It's on colored vinyl. You can get it transparent blue or transparent purple, which are basically references to the potion colors that you can. There's 4 potion colors that in the game that give you power up, and then like the side B. This is the starting room. I made this out of Lego recently, and this is one of the other famous rooms from the game. So I didn't know it was possible to get this until recently, and as soon as I got this, as soon as I knew this existed, I had to have it because NES games don't usually get soundtrack releases, and this is one of my favorite soundtracks of it. I'd love to get Rare's Captain Skyhawk as a soundtrack too, but I don't think you can get that. Unfortunately, it's a shame that a lot of these NES games, because there was some great stuff on there. In terms of soundtrack.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. We loved the NES and we played those games. We would recognize the music now. If I had an NES, I'm sure I would recognize all those tunes from my childhood or late teens, let's say. Well, Harrison, 2 hours, buddy. Welcome back. And thanks to Peter for loaning Harrison to the show tonight.
Oh, he's part of your crew.
Yeah, Peter gets
he's
royalties from this, doesn't he?
Yeah, I do actually.
Yes, he does. But
money.
The 3 of us, you, me, and Peter, we will be back next week to do our Mad Max ranking. I've been looking forward to this for a long time now. We've been talking about it for months. I've been watching all 5 films. I've been having deep discussions with both of you guys, and I can't wait to let it all spill out. and see how the conversation develops. But we will be ranking all 5 Mad Max films, even Harrison, who says, yes.
I was going to say, I will be talking about a different piece of Mad Max media because I would much rather talk about my favorite piece of Mad Max media than my least favorite piece of Mad Max media.
So what we're going to do
so I will be breaking the rules.
I've already discussed with
So
Peter
he's going to do a
here.
Catino.
He's doing what he's doing, as what he always does. But I've already discussed with Peter. We are going to rank all 5 films for you. If you're leaving one off, we were going to place it in the number 5 slot. And I think we know which.
Like ranking these films, it's like there's one film I don't like, and then there's 4 films that I love. You know, it's not going to be a ranking as much as it is. I'm just going to talk about 4 of my favorite films.
Well, that's a fine approach, but you still have to rank them. These are.
I guess you guys can do the ranking, and I'll just talk about that.
Okay.
So you're a true contrarian, Harrison.
He's so stubborn.
Come on, Harrison. You got to talk about it.
Good luck with it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Talk about the what I'll say about Thunderdome. It just doesn't feel like Mad Max. Not in the way that
but save it. We'll save it for next week because we seriously do have a great show lined up for next week. I know because we've been having passionate conversations. It's already starting, so we're very.
And I'm not on it, so it'll really be a good show then.
Are you a fan of Mad Max?
I've never seen any of the movies, so I have no idea. So I've never watched any of the movies.
Yeah.
So we've
as I mentioned earlier, there'll be some serious rarities. I don't have the novelizations of the first 3 films, unfortunately. They're Grail items, but I've got some really cool stuff regardless to show.
I can't wait to see, what a tease right there. Harrison is a tease. He's a Mad Max tease. Anyway, we've discussed what we've got coming up. We've got some John Sinclair coming up on Rock Daydream Nation. We may or may not have some progressive rock stuff happening on that channel too. And Johnny Clouser, you're still doing the Anthrax, not Anthrax, sorry, Accept, same section. So that's the last album he reviewed with you had your co-host, the Music Nut, and who was your guest? I can't remember.
That was Trevor from the Killer Crash Course Metal Show.
Right. And those 3 guys took a look at that, which is the reunion album with Udo. And next week you've got the follow-up album, which was called, can't remember.
Death Row.
Not my time for Accept personally, but we'll see what Johnny Metal and crew think of it next Wednesday night. Is that correct? Wednesday night? And
Correct.
also
Wednesday night.
Johnny Metal. But before that, Johnny Metal and I, and maybe Peter, we'll see. We'll be on the Contrarians. I hope Peter. We'll be on the Contrarians. We'll be talking 10 albums with Fire or Explosions, which will be fun. So that's the Wednesday night
which will be
show.
great here in America because it's the day after Election Day. So, the United States might be up in flames by that point.
Well, I've got
Johnny
a
Metal
single for Tom Jones burning down the house somewhere here.
You know what? I don't want to jinx anything. I'm as nervous as anybody else. I just hope for a safe outcome for everyone. That's all I'm going to say. I don't get political. On that note, we will see you next week. There you go. So we will see you next week. Same channel, same time, 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard for the Mad Max ranking show. We're going to be doing some arm twisting on Harrison as he shows us his rarities. And Johnny Clouser, you can check him out on the Contrarians on Wednesday and also his own channel, My Music Corner. Give all these guys a like and a subscribe. And I thank you all for joining me tonight for this 2-year anniversary special. Any last words, gentlemen, before we head out for the evening?
See you later.
See you later,
alligator.
And I'll see you guys next week.
We'll see you next week. As you know, we always like to go out with a song. It's Spiritual Canoe. There you go. Well, this is appropriate. This is a song about a river nearby called the River Grand. This is a song called River Grand by Max the Axe. We'll see you next week on Grab a Stack of Rock.
You sent me a letter telling me how good it goes. You said I'd feel better. That's the way the river flows. Give me time to make a stand.